Lahaina fire survivors with FEMA housing had to start paying rent recently after a year and a half of government-funded living expenses. But about 1 in 10 have not made their payments. Gina Mangieri is always investigating and reports.
At the start of this week, nearly 200 out of around 1,000 households on FEMA's temporary housing program had not paid rent. Now that's down to 100, or 1 in 10, as of today. And those families could be at risk of losing subsidized rates or having to move out. We wanted to know the scope of what's going on and options for families.
For a year and a half after the deadly August 2023 Lahaina fire, thousands of people relied on FEMA for recovery resources, including federally funded rentals. Those units were no longer free as of this spring, with the first payments due April 1st.
I know a lot of people are having a challenging time doing that, but we are in a new phase, and it's disaster recovery, not disaster response, which means the federal government no longer is going to cover everybody's rent.
About 91% of our FEMA direct housing population were renters prior to the fire. So we, assume that they're used to paying rent, and we need to bring back some of that normalcy because the ultimate goal is to transition households to their permanent housing plans, as FEMA's program is really only to provide temporary housing.
Out of nearly 1,000 households on the temporary rental program, just over 100 have not paid March rent. Even more were late as of just a few days ago.
We sprung into action with, that list of 175 to do extensive outreach to those households to follow up and make sure they understand, when the rent was due, the various ways to pay, and then underscoring once again the consequences that we really are working very hard to avoid.
Consequences include having to move out.
So it will take some time to reconcile, with our finance department after May 1st, who still has not paid their rent. And then that will essentially trigger what we call a revocation process.
That starts with a 15-day warning, then a notice of revocation, then a notice to surrender the property. And the unpaid rent bill does not go away.
It goes up to the Treasury level, and then the U.S. Treasury will follow up. And there's different ways that the federal government can recoup those funds, including garnishing wages and/or having it be taken out of Social Security.
We wanted to know, are there any other programs still helping people get back on their feet?
We do know that there are some philanthropic partners that are still offering assistance. That assistance is not necessarily for them to pay rent, but it may help offset other bills that are coming up for them right now. And we understand the financial stress of this recovery.
So how much monthly rent are we talking about? The allowable range FEMA can charge is $1,750 a month for a studio to nearly $3,600 a month for a 4-bedroom, or more for bigger places. But most of the 1,000 renters appealed for subsidies, and 836 of them were approved to pay as little as $50 a month. Landlords get paid by FEMA regardless of the renter's remittances to the federal agency.
The property owner should not feel an impact of the delay in rent payment by the household that's occupying their unit.
All of this is set to end after February 2026. FEMA tells me they don't anticipate any risk to the federal funds between now and then. Gina Mangieri, KHON2 News, always investigating.